Our other top story of the day, the city of Memphis, Tennessee, was the scene this past week of two unrelated, outrageous, and gruesome crimes, and both involved suspects who were released early from prison. There was the abduction and murder of teacher Eliza Fletcher last Friday. After a frantic search, her body was found on Monday, stuffed behind an abandoned building half a mile from her home. Then came a shooting spree yesterday, partially streamed on social media, which prompted calls for the 630,000 residents of Memphis to stay indoors for their own safety. 4 people were killed, and with both of these horrific crimes, this loss of life were seemingly preventable. Both acts committed by men who were released early for other very serious crimes. And the question isn't just why, but how do we stop that from happening again? Take Eliza Fletcher, happily married mother of 2, was beloved by her kindergarten students and fellow teachers at the school where she worked. Here she is in a video talking to her students.
Hey, good morning, girls. You should be watching this on Thursday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So today is Thursday.
She was senselessly killed last Friday morning when Eliza went out for a jog around 4 a.m. Here's a photo from a surveillance camera. Shortly after that image was captured, authorities say this man, 38-year-old Cleotha Abston, stalked Eliza before pulling over, forcing her into an SUV. Fletcher's husband reported his wife missing around 7 a.m. and immediately police began searching. Forensics from a pair of sandals found near where Eliza's cell phone was recovered were a match for Abston, a violent felon who spent 20 years in prison for kidnapping. His cell phone records also put him there at the time of the abduction. Surveillance video released by police reportedly shows Abston's cleaning out his SUV before police found him. On Sunday, police announced Abston had been arrested and charged with Fletcher's abduction. They found her body the next day, with no help, apparently, from Abston, it seems, and had to deliver the devastating news to her family. Abston's criminal record began when he was a teen, a charge of rape at 14. Also as a juvenile, aggravated assault and unlawful possession of a weapon. Then at 16, sentenced to decades in prison for a gunpoint kidnapping and robbery. That victim survived. Abston got out of jail just in November of 2020, 4 years shy of his full sentence. Asked about the early release, the Tennessee Department of Corrections says it was due to credits Abston received for time served before his sentence and for participating in the prison's job program in the kitchen and the laundry, as a cleaner, as a cook. The Lieutenant Governor of Tennessee tweeting out, quote, "This unspeakable crime was as heinous as it was preventable." And on Wednesday, another crime. Police in Memphis. Police say 19-year-old Ezekiel Kelly began a random shooting spree that began just after midnight with a man shot in his driveway. Then at 4:30 that afternoon, 2 more shootings were reported. Things continued from there. Police began a manhunt for the suspect around 6 that evening after the authorities were alerted about a shooting inside an AutoZone store that was live streamed on Facebook. Residents were told to shelter inside as the suspect terrorized the city, quote, "If you do not need to be out, please stay home," officials tweeted. Authorities say Kelly carjacked nurse Allison Parker and shot her to death in front of her young daughter. Allison was one of 4 people killed on the spree. 3 others were injured. Police took Kelly into custody at around 9 that night after a high-speed chase. He had been released from prison in March after pleading down an attempted murder charge for a crime that happened when he was 17 and for which he was sentenced to 3 years, but only served 11 months. While Tennessee state law strengthening sentences was changed this year, the change does not go into effect didn't go into effect until July 1st. Kelly would have still been in prison had he been made to serve out his full prison term. I mean, that is so maddening. Now, I get that that's no cold comfort to the families of Allison Parker and Kelly's other alleged victims. Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland said he welcomes being held accountable, but that he doesn't set the bonds or run the prisons. So look, I don't want to do the typical hyperbolic, lock them up, throw away the key routine. I want to know what can be done to ensure this doesn't happen. Is it the way they're being evaluated in prison? Is it the law? Is it the sentences? Joining me now, retired Tulsa Police Lieutenant Sean Stix Larkin and Tennessee State Representative Cameron Sexton, one of the sponsors of that bill we told you about, which could keep criminals like Kelly and Abston in prison for their full sentences. Thank you both for coming on the program. Appreciate it. All right, Representative Sexton, let me start with you. Obviously, this is a tough time for your community in Memphis. Obviously, people are frustrated. They are angry. But talk to me about what your law does and how, if it had been in effect earlier, it might have helped avoid this entire situation.
Yes. So we passed truth in sentencing. We're the first state in America that has 100% sentencing for violent crimes. Basically, whatever the judge or jury hands down, you have to serve every single day. There's no credits for good behavior or early release. If this law would have been in place back in 2000 or just a little bit ago for the other case, the Kelly case, those individuals would have still been behind bars. They wouldn't have been out. We wouldn't have had these victims, and these individuals would not have been killed.
So does this, I apologize, sir, does this apply to violent crimes or all crimes?
It applies to violent crimes. What we're trying to do is set a line in the sand that says, here's the line that you don't want to cross, which is murder, voluntary manslaughter, carjacking, anything that's especially aggravated. Here is the heinous of the heinous crimes. That's 100%. If you do one of these crimes, you're going to do every single day.
And what do you say to those who say, well, the prisons need incentives, right? They need incentives to make the prisoners behave. They have to give them, something for good behavior. What do you say to that?
Well, that's just them being soft. Look, we've tried for 2 decades to cuddle and do the feelings of these criminals. And what has that gotten us? What you've seen here in Tennessee in the last couple of days is habitual violent criminals who this is their repeat offense, who've gotten out of jail early with reduced sentences that committed these crimes. You cannot have a society where you treat all criminals the same. There has to be a line that if you cross, there's a harsher penalty for you. And that's what we try to do in the state of Tennessee.
All right, Sean, look, you think a lot about law enforcement. You and I have talked a lot about it. You think big picture about law enforcement. When you see these two things happening together and you think possible solutions, what are you thinking about?
Well, first of all, I want to say kudos to them there in Tennessee to do that. This is the first I've heard about it. The 100% sentencing for violent crimes, I think, is absolutely fantastic. For me, during my time with the Tulsa Police Department, serving in the gang unit, that was one of the most frustrating things for us is regularly coming across these violent offenders that just get right back out. And the district attorney's offices, you take one of the situations here in Memphis, the shooting spree. I don't want to name the suspect. I don't want to give his name any more publicity, but he had an attempted murder charge reduced down to an aggravated assault. And the sentencing guidelines there in the state of Tennessee are 3 to 15 years for that. And he was given the bare minimum, 3 years. So he went from facing an attempted murder charge involving a firearm to a 3-year sentence, the very bottom they could give him for his guilty plea. And then he was out in 11 months. Just overly frustrating, something we dealt with years and years and years, there in Tulsa ourselves.
And Sean, why do you think this is happening? I mean, is it that the judges aren't evaluating the cases closely enough? Is it that the prisons, as the representative there said, are getting too soft at times? Look, we're all so frustrated, but I want to make sure we're being productive here, right? I don't want to just use the typical hyperbolic rhetoric and just say, throw away the key, et cetera. I want to figure out, why is this happening and what can we do?
I will say this. The position of a district attorney is an elected position. Having convictions on paper when it comes election time looks good. And so there are some that work within the district attorney's office. That's what matters. It's getting that conviction on paper. It's not the length of the sentence. It's not the fact that a violent offender is off the street for a lengthy period of time so they're not victimizing other people. It's just so they have that check mark. This is a conviction. We have a high conviction rate. And, just to throw one more story out there, we saw people that were getting drug convictions that were getting longer sentences than violent, ex-con gang members that were getting caught with firearms and things like that, because it was all about just getting that check mark. And that's what matters oftentimes for some of the district attorney's offices.
And Representative Sexton, that's why I think it's so important to distinguish between the violent crimes, right, and the nonviolent crimes. I mean, look, whatever you think about drug policy, et cetera, it's just not comparable, right, when it comes to some of the sorts of crimes we're talking about.
I mean, that's right. Violent criminals deserve a special place in prison for a long time. I will say, if you're wanting to talk about the narrative, truth in sentencing, 100% sentencing will not solve the crime problem in our country. Right. We have to focus on juvenile programs, juvenile intervention programs, holding juveniles accountable. They're getting slapped on the wrist. And so at a young age, 15, 16, 17, they're taught that the justice system is not going to do anything to them, which leads to adult. We need to focus on K through 12 education. We need the people, when they graduate high school, they have the skills and ability to have a job. Identify who are at risk in these schools and what schools are at risk, and put programs in place that will stop them from joining gangs. There's a lot more to do, but the criminal justice system is broke right now.
All right. I don't know what else to say here. I want to thank you both for coming on the show. I know how frustrating this is probably for both of you, for a lot of people watching. It is for me, in thinking about the carnage that has occurred in Memphis, Tennessee, that theoretically could have been prevented. And I think we need to talk about these things, and I think we need to talk about it in a productive way. Tennessee State Representative Cameron Sexton, Sean Sticks Larkin, thank you both. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you for watching. Go to NewsNationNow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.